Alright guys, so let's look here about how to use algebra tiles when we're given binomials to multiply. So we're going to set it up. We're going to put the one on the left on top and the one on the right on the left. So let's start by dragging over an x because it says x plus 3. So here we have x. And then I have 3 positive ones, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. And then on the left side, I'm given an x, so I'm going to drag an x. And then plus 2, so I'm going to drag over 1 and 2. And now my goal is to fill in the inside using as few tiles as possible. So here I have an x and an x, and I know that 2 greens get filled in by a blue, so that's an x squared right there. And then I know each space where I have one of these next to an x squared, I need to fill in with a long green. So I'm going to put 1, 2, and 3. And then I see down here that I'm going to need 2 more of them, but they're going to need to be sideways. So I'm going to turn them sideways, and I'm going to fill in 1 and 2. And then wherever I have greens next to each other and there's nothing there, I can't have any empty spaces. This thing needs to be all filled up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill them in with yellows because I have positives and positives. And a positive leaves me with positive. So I'm going to see that I need 3 right here. And then it looks like I also need 3 right here to fill in my bottom row. Let me clean that up a little bit. And now I can see that in this space right here, these make up my answer. So my final answer, I'm able to type in, I have an x squared plus, let's count our green x's. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. And I have 6 ones, so that would be 6. So my final answer here, when I'm multiplying x plus 3 and x plus 2, gives me x squared plus 5x plus 6. Look at one that looks just a bit different. Now we have x plus 3 and x minus 2. So we're going to start off the same way. We're going to put our x plus 3 on the top. We have x right here. We're going to put our 3 positive ones because this is plus 3. And then on the left side, we're going to put x. And then we're going to put negative 2 or minus 2. So here we're actually going to use 2 reds because we have to represent negative 2 or minus 2. So just as before, an x and an x makes an x squared, which we know. And then we're going to fill in our 3 yellows with greens because remember they're positive. So we need to fill this in with positive greens here or positive x's. But then down here, I'm actually going to need to fill them in with some negative x's because a negative 1 would make a negative x. Okay, so now we have this down here. We're going to turn them sideways and bring them down here. And then now what I'm going to think about is if I have a positive and a negative, what's that going to make? Well, I know that a positive and a negative makes a negative. So I'm going to fill in 6 negatives here. Again, we're trying to fill in the columns and the rows with the fewest blocks possible. Now, once we do this, we're going to need to look and see if there's anything we can eliminate. So I know that x take away x would give me 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away, for every 1 green, I'm going to take away 1 red. Again, I have 1 more red, so I can take away 1 more green and 1 more red. And what I'm left with, this part right here, that is my final answer. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in. My final answer is x squared plus, we have 1 positive x left. You could just put x or 1x. And then we're left with 6 negatives. So 6 negative 1s, 6 negatives, and that is actually our final answer here. So again, the difference between a positive and a negative is here we're actually looking at, we have to do a little bit of elimination before we can write our final answer.